Hello everyone and welcome to Nervous Nessie. I recently purchased tickets for some events coming up locally near me, and it got me to thinking about giving all of you tips about going to events. Maybe you are out traveling and you purchase tickets to go to an event. Maybe it is a ball game or a concert or a show. I'm actually going to some Broadway shows, so I'm going to be driving into LA and going to these shows. And there are kind of, I guess you could say, some things that I need to do in order to make sure that I have a smooth experience doing that. And I wanted to give tips to all of you for whenever you are traveling and you go to events as well. So the first thing is parking. You want to make sure that you arrive early so that you can get parking. A lot of times events are either really big, like concerts or ball games, and there's parking, tons and tons of parking. However, you're parking really far away from the venue. It's a giant parking lot that you're going to have to walk for quite a while to get to the venue, and you want to get there early. Or maybe it is a smaller venue and you have to find city parking and you may have to drive around the block several times to try and find a spot. And so you want to make sure that you arrive early. When you do park, my suggestion, my tip for you is to take a picture. Take a picture of where you actually parked at. If you're in a large parking lot, such as for ball games or concerts, a lot of times they have markers up onto the light posts that tell you what section you are in. Take a picture of that. That way, when you go to come back to your vehicle, you know where you're at versus you're in a sea of cars trying to find your vehicle. If you're going to places like amusement parks, sometimes they even have little characters up. When I went to Universal Studios, if you watched that video, each parking garage had its own little characters. And it told you what floor you were on, so you could very easily take a picture and find your car at the end of the day. Because let's face it, after you've just had this amazing experience either at an amusement park or a concert or a ball game or whatever event you're going to, you're not thinking about your car. And when you come back out, you want to be able to easily find your car. Now, I'm not gonna necessarily give this suggestion because I don't really think it's the best suggestion, but it does work. When it comes to parking and leaving an event, growing up, my parents did not want to sit in traffic. They wanted to basically beat the traffic because everyone's leaving at the same time. And so anytime that we went to an event, before they got, maybe if it's a concert, before they got to the last song, my parents would just go ahead and leave, which it sucked because usually a lot of musicians, bands will save their best song for last, and we always missed it. However, it does work. If you leave just a little bit before the end of the show, you can beat traffic. So it's kind of a trade-off. Do you want to sit in traffic but get to see the entire show, or would you rather not deal with traffic and you get to miss some of the show? But my tip is to just chill and relax. If you are inside this venue and maybe it is air conditioned or it is heated and the temperature outside is right the opposite, then maybe it's better to just chill in your seat for a little bit. Let everyone else go out. And then once everyone thins out on the inside, slowly make your way out to your vehicle and sit in your vehicle. Play some music. Talk with the people that are in the vehicle with you about, oh, the show, or oh, the ball game, and just relax in the parking lot and let traffic thin out that way. To me, that's what I do, is just take my time to leave. I know traffic's going to be terrible, so why be in a hurry to get in traffic? So whichever way you decide to go, whether it's leave early or leave with everyone else and get in traffic, or just take your time and leave whenever you feel comfortable, just keep that in mind whenever you do go to various events. Another thing to keep in mind is restrooms. Now, you have this big event with all these people. Most likely, at some point, people are going to have to go to the restroom, but there's only so many restrooms. And so when you are going into the event, be aware of your surroundings, of where the restrooms are. That way you're not wandering around and needing to go to the restroom and you're trying to find a restroom. Also, be mindful of when things happen in the event so that you can avoid the crowds. Let's say there's an intermission, or maybe you're watching several bands at a concert and they're setting up for the next band coming up. Anytime there's a break or an intermission, that is when everyone gets up and goes to the restroom. And there will be long, long lines. So it might be better to go when the actual event is going on. Yes, if you're at a ball game, you could miss that awesome play. Yes, if you're at a concert, you could miss a song that you like. But a lot of venues now have it set up to where there's TVs even in the restrooms. Especially at ball events, they will have TVs in the restroom. That way, while you're in the restroom, you can still be watching the game. Or you could be watching the band on the stage while you're standing in line in the restroom at the actual concert. So kind of be mindful of the restrooms, that everyone's probably going to have to go at some point, and you want to try and avoid those lines. The same thing goes for concession stands. Now, number one, if you are going to a venue and you want to purchase any kind of food or beverage, just know it's going to be expensive. It is rare to find a venue that does not have expensive food and drink there. Most venues won't allow you to bring in any type of food or drink. And if you are needing food or beverage quickly, then keep in mind that there's going to be lines. And that's when you need to revert back to the mindset of the restrooms, of maybe go when the venue is, the event is actually going on. When the band is on the stage, people are less likely to go to the concession stand. This is especially true if you have kids and you need to tow your kids around. It's a lot easier to take the kids to the concession stand when there's less crowd, because the crowd is in there watching the event. A lot of the concession stands now are not doing cash. They're not taking cash. A lot of them have where you have to use a card or maybe use your app on your phone to pay. But it is nice to have cash just in case. But keep that in mind, that a lot of venues now, they only use credit card or debit card, or they will use an app to let you pay. Now I want to talk about safety. Let's face it, this world has gotten crazy, and when there are big events that you may go to, anything can happen, which is very, very sad, but it's kind of become the norm. For safety in a big event or some type of big venue, Number one, know where your exits are. Be aware of your surroundings, and if something bad were to happen, know how to get to the exit and escape. Also, just be aware of people around you in general. You could have people trying to rob you, trying to pickpocket you. Be mindful of any bags that you have or your wallet. Also, if you have little kids, keep an eye on your little kids. It's so easy to lose your children in a giant crowd, and that is really scary to think of someone taking off with your child. So if you are going to a big venue, maybe just carry the child or put them in some type of a stroller or something to where you have control over your child, because you don't want to lose them in a crowd. And to go along with safety, think about what you can bring in to the venue. This is a little bit more towards like women carrying in purses or handbags. Because of everything that has gone on in the world, the venues are now getting really strict about what you can bring in. They maybe either require your bag to be a certain size, or they require your bag to be clear. I went to a concert a year or two ago where the only thing you could bring in was a clear bag, and the clear bag had to be like this big. I didn't have that. I had a full purse. Now it was a, crossbody purse, and it was about this big, but it was bigger than the size that they required, and it was not clear. And at that venue, you either had to just take your bag back, which I couldn't do because it was too far away to go back, or I had to pay money to essentially have them hold my bag for me. And it was like $25. I'm like, I could have almost bought a new bag. I really loved that bag. That's why I didn't want to get rid of it. But I did see some people that were taking the contents of their bags and putting it in their pockets and then just throwing their purses on the side of the road because they didn't want to pay and they didn't want to go back to their hotel or their car to put their bag away. So if you're going to go to a venue, usually you can look online and see what the requirements are for bringing in bags to the venue. Now, if you have little children and you need a diaper bag, there may be different restrictions on that. Just read online for the venue of what their restrictions are. Same thing goes with things like strollers. If you have little children, a lot of venues do not allow strollers. It gets too crowded in there, and strollers are going to be hitting people, or people are going to be tripping over the strollers. And so they may not allow strollers into the venue. But before you go to the event, look online for the venue and see what the requirements are. I hope you enjoyed this video where I gave some tips about going to events, the parking, the safety, restrooms and concessions. If you don't regularly go to events, hopefully this was helpful for you. If you have tips yourself for going to events, then leave those in the comments below. I would love to hear your tips. If you like this video, then give me a thumbs up. And if you want to know whenever the next video comes out, then subscribe. And I look forward to seeing everyone in the next video. Bye!